Okay, so in this video I'm demonstrating the Calla lily brooch, which was designed by Louisa. This is made using pre-knitted wire and crystals. It's quite a simple design, but very effective when it's done. So I'm going to be making the topaz version, and this is how we do it. We're going to start by using the finer of the two wires that's in the pack, which is 0.315 millimetre. If you just straighten it out, and then we're going to make the stamens. We're going to start by putting on 3 crystal and sliding those down to the centre of the wire. Okay, when you've got those in the centre of the wire, you're going to pinch and you're going to twist. Just the easiest way I found to do this is to just hold the beads at the top of the loop and keep twisting. You need to pinch quite tightly because that will stop the twist travelling down the rest of the wire. Okay, so that's your first stamen done. Let's just make that a little bit tighter right at the top. There we go. Then we're going to take one of the ends of the wire and we're going to add another 3 crystal, she says. One, 2, 3. I'm going to bring that down. And you want to make this loop about the same length as the previous loop. And again, pinch and twist. And twist. And there we go. And you're going to repeat that 3 more times by adding 1 crystal onto each stamen. Okay, so here's one I prepared earlier. You can see there are 2 stamens with 3 crystals on and 3 stamens with a single crystal on. We're going to set this to one side for a moment while we make the flower shape out of the knitted wire. Now for this particular project you will need to download and print at least page 1 of the instructions, because it does have the template that you're going to need for the folding on the instruction sheet. So you've got your 25 centimetre length of wire, and all we're going to do is we're going to fold it so that it is so that it fits the template. So you're going to end up with a piece of wire that is 8.5 centimetres wide and 8.5 centimetres long. What we're going to do is we're going to fold the bottom half to the top of the wire and the top half to the underside of the wire. So what we're going to do is we're going to pinch and roll. You may find this easier if you pick it up, and it's just a case of pinching and twisting. You can give it a slight stretch as you're pulling it, and that will just help with the flare. And you just need to bring it round so that it's sitting roughly on the line on the template. Now this is flower inspired, and remember, flowers, no 2 flowers are ever completely identical. So if you do go slightly off piece and end up with a slightly different shape, it's not the end of the world. You just get something vaguely similar. And of course the beauty of the knitted wire is you can be reasonably brutal with it and give it a pull and a tweak and pull it into shape as well. So that's the bottom half of the wire roughly matching the template, and then we're just going to take the top and we're going to fold it in the opposite direction and just pull it round. Basically just making sure all your cut edges are tucked in and keep it there. So we're roughly where we should be. Let's just get rid of that corner and tuck, and then pinch at the bottom to give yourself a bit of a point, maybe a bit too pointy, so just give it a poke and tuck it in. And there we go, that's us roughly matching the template. I'll take that away again. what we need to do now is add the stamen. Now this rolled edge is actually going to be on the outside of the finished brooch, so we need to turn the work over. Then what we're going to do is take the pre-prepared stamens, and we're just going to very technically bodge the wire of the stamens through the top of the pre-knitted wire and hold that in place. And then this is where the magic happens. We're just going to bring the edges round, and suddenly you go from a flat piece of wire to a beautiful lily shape. What we're going to do is we're just going to take one end of the wire, and we're essentially going to tack this, just get that kink out. If you get a kink, it's important that you stop and untwist it, because it will make the wire weak if you leave it. So pull and go back down and just, oops, just bodge it through. Eventually it will come out the back again. There we go. And pull that. Don't forget we can do a bit of shaping when we're done. Okay, so there you can see we've got the body of the flower with the stamens. What we now need to do is bind the top of this flower to make the calyx, and to do that we're going to use a slightly thicker wire. So this is the other wire that was in your bead pack. So we're just going to open that up. Again, if you've got any obvious kinks in it, just give it a rub. Running it through your fingers is the best way to do this. And then we're going to bind the end of the flower. So again, if you just poke the wire through the knitted wire and just fold it up and hold it at the back, it just gives you something to get started with. And then literally we're just going to wrap it round. And you need to be reasonably neat with this. So if you go over, and then you can come back down on yourself, and you can do this as tightly or as loosely as you like. Just make sure that it gathers everything in on the end. The other thing you need to make sure you do is don't bind these ends so they're sticking out the top of your brooch, because we're going to use these for tying attaching the brooch pin in a moment. So again, we're going to keep winding, tuck the end in, so give it a squeeze, and then what I'm going to do just to neaten it up is just take a pair of wire cutters, and being careful not to cut through the wire wrap, just trim the end of that knitted wire. Okay, give it a smush with your finger, and that will hide all the sharp edges. And there we've got almost finished. So the last thing we're going to do is we're going to attach the brooch pin to the back of the lily. Now I'm going to attach it so that the hinge of the pin is at the top, so that when I wear it, it's going to sit sort of downwards. If you wanted to, you could attach it so that it's the other way up. That's a design choice for you. So what we're going to do is we're going to use the wire like a sewing needle. So we're going to come through the hole in the brooch pin, and then if you just put your finger inside the flower to help guide it, we're going to stitch through the wire. And this is a little bit fiddly. Through the wire. Oops, coming out too far. Just go through. There. So we're just catching it. Again, untwist any loops before they form. And then we'll catch the wire on this side of the brooch. And there we go. And we'll repeat that stitch for security. Try and catch a little bit of the wire in a different place if you can. So as you can see, we've got lots of stitches holding those in place now. And then to finish off, all I did was I brought the two ends of the wire together, twisted them in the same way as we did for the stamens, trimmed it down, and then just tucked it in under the edge of the brooch pin. And that is your beautiful calla lily brooch in topaz and in lilac.